I want to thank the organizers, my brother, Mr. Ituah, for bringing me here, and also Barrister Tasie. But the man really responsible for dragging me here by the scruff of my neck is a man called Duboye Graham Douglas, who was my senior in King's College. And my brother's classmate with his wife, who is also the wife, my governor's wife's sister. You know, in King's College, if your senior orders you, you have to obey for the fear of Duboye. Otherwise, he can punish me and give me some imposition. Amen. Well, Duboye, I have overcome. Amen. So, the president Nigeria needs. I'll take it a little bit from the spiritual, and I'll also be as practical as I can on this subject. There's a scripture that says, if the foundation be destroyed, Proverbs, Psalm 11 verse 3, what can the righteous do? If the foundation be destroyed, what can people of the right mind and the right thinking do? The way Nigeria is presently structured, it will be almost impossible. And I'm sorry, the thing they're trying to get it to work, and if they do, you'll be able to probably enjoy this presentation better. The way Nigeria presently is structured, it will be almost impossible to get the president that Nigeria really needs. The way we are presently structured. Except by real divine intervention or by the cooperation of a lot of the people that are here this morning. Our previous colonial masters have laid a solid foundation to make sure that it never happens. So when a lot of us as Nigerians go to the IMF, go to the World Bank, go to Britain, looking for help and solution to our problems, I say they are actually almost wasting their time. It's like going to the devil to look for salvation. The one who came to kill, to steal, to destroy, who took your patrimony, stole your goods, stole your artifacts, took all your economic valuable things, and decided to put you in a position where forever and ever you will continually serve them and provide the raw materials that they need. You know, it's only in Nigeria that you produce oil from River State, from Bayelsa, from Delta. You carry the oil to London, to Europe, to America. They refine the oil for you, and you import petrol. Only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria that you take cocoa from the soils of Ibadan and Oyo State, or cashew from Ogbomoso, where my brother comes from, and you export the cashew, and you take it to Switzerland, and Switzerland becomes the cashew or the cocoa or the chocolate capital of the world. And then the fine girls of Port Harcourt go to Switzerland, and you have to buy them chocolates as an expression of love. Only in Nigeria. I'm chairman of a company called Valencia, and they do a lot of cashew out of Nigeria. And at the board meeting last week, when we're looking at ways of doing better business and adding value to the cashew that we produce, the Indians that run the company said to me that, do I know that if we add value to cashew in Nigeria, by the time it gets to Europe, they put a 20% duty on it. But if we export the raw cashew, then it is duty-free. The people who founded Nigeria and created Nigeria have virtually completed the colonization of this country, albeit Africa. The first colonization is physical. The first colonization is physical. You grab a man, you throw him into the boat, you tie his hands, you ship him abroad, or you put him under pressure, and you tell him that he's no longer a human being. So physically, with physical strength, you colonize a man. But the second and the most grievous is mental. When you colonize a man mentally, then you totally almost have him under your wraps. One of these great singers in America, I'm trying to remember his name as I speak, gospel singers, a black man, came to sing in my church many years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. And he says that we don't know the kinds of things and the liberty that we have in Nigeria. That in America, even at his generation, 400 years after slavery, a lot of them still think like slaves. They are unable to mentally process the advancement of themselves because they have been told times without number, and the economy has been rigged against them, that they can never achieve much in terms of financial success. And that is why till tomorrow, the leading people of dark color in America are Nigerians. The greatest professors, the greatest doctors, the greatest physicians, the greatest lawyers, the greatest business people, even the people in government in America and in Europe are Nigerians. Because somehow, in spite of the efforts of our colonial masters, there's still a few stubborn Nigerians who still think like people, like human beings. When I was in school in Hull many, many years ago, well, young man from Ibadan, King's College boy, since a young age I've been chasing girls, white girls, black girls, who cares? Just chase them. So I got to Hull and I started chasing the girls. And within a few months, a few weeks, I had a couple of Lucy, Jennifer, Helen, all flocking around this very charming, if I say so myself, black boy. And then I was with Lucy and Helen, just chatting. And my friend from Zimbabwe, I think his name was Jonathan, was walking towards me. And as he walked towards me, he crossed to the other side of the road. And then he beckoned, said I should come. So I said, Helen, Lucy, give me a few minutes. I went over to where he was. And I said, what's the problem? He said, you talking to white girl? I said, yes. You talking to white girl? I said, yes. He said, you're a great man. I said, for talking to a white girl? He said, yes. I said, why? He says, in my country, this was before the independence of Zimbabwe, they were still called Rhodesia then. When we see a white man coming, we cross over to the other side. Says, man, introduce me. I say, come. I say, Lucy, Jonathan, follow. And Lucy followed Jonathan. I said, you're a great man. The colonization that's most critical is the colonization of the mind. And now, even as Nigerians, we feel slightly inferior. With all due respect, we still wear ties, wear suits. It's colonial mentality. We act inferior. Corruption was introduced and legitimized in Nigeria by the colonial masters. There's a book by a British colonial master, a man called Harold Smith. If you are able to Google and get a copy of that book to tell you how the British institutionalized corruption in Nigeria, rigged the elections, rigged the census, rigged the allocation, rigged the space that we have, and ensured that the wrong kind of people became leaders in Nigeria. Whenever a man was brilliant, when he was bright, when he was disciplined, they put him down. When they could easily corrupt him and get him to steal government money, they pushed him up, both in the service and in the politics. We believe our politics is dirty. We run a politics of money. And that's why my friend was a little bit surprised when they ran the APC elections and they didn't vote for competence, but they voted for money. We don't trust ourselves. We believe we're each other's problem and enemy. And unless our group is in power, we have been marginalized. Our colonial masters laid a solid foundation. This is what Lord Frederick Lugard said in 1914. In character and temperament, the typical African of this race type is happy, thriftless, excitable, lacking in self-control, discipline, and foresight, naturally courageous, naturally cautious and polite, full of personal vanity, with little sense of veracity, fond of music, loves weapons as an Oriental loves jewelry. His thoughts are concentrated on the events and feelings of the past, and he suffers little from apprehension of the future or grief from the past. This is what Lord Macaulay said on the 2nd of February 1835, one of our colonial leaders. I have traveled across the length and the breadth of Africa. I have not seen one person who is a beggar. 1835. I have not seen one person who is a thief. I have not seen one person in this country that has high moral values. I have seen people of such caliber that I do not think we can ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of cultural lineage, and therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, we replace her culture. For if the Africans think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them to become, and they will be truly dominated. This is what he said to the Parliament on the 2nd of February 1835. And that was the grand design on which Africa and Nigeria was colonized. This is what P.W. Botha said. The fact that the blacks look like human beings and act like human beings do not necessarily make them sensible human beings. If God wanted us to be equal to the blacks, he would have created us of uniform color and intellect. But he created us differently. Whites, blacks, yellows, rulers, and the ruled. Intellectually, we, the whites, are superior to the blacks, and that has been proven beyond doubt over the years. Most blacks are vulnerable to money inducements. The old trick of divide and rule, I'm sure it sounds familiar, is very valid today. Our experts should work day and night to set the black man against his fellow man. His inferior sense of morals can be exploited beautifully, and this is a creature that lacks foresight. There's a need for us to combat him in long-term projections that he cannot suspect. The average black man does not plan his life beyond a year. That stance, for example, should be exploited. P.W. Botha, one of the prime ministers of South Africa before apartheid crumbled. Till today, Nigeria, and the entire world is still being run on the foundations that the Romans, the Portuguese, and the British laid. If the projection was working, I would have shown you some pictures of our leaders and our queen and so on and so forth. But about 2 weeks ago, on the 29th of May, thereabouts, I led a group of people to go and pray for Nigeria at the Tafawa Balewa Square, the cenotaph that was erected when we got our independence. When we got there a few days before, that beautiful cenotaph was overgrown with weeds. There was no way to get to it. It had been derelict, decrepit, badly used, neglected, abandoned. The same way our leaders have abandoned our nation. So we had to quickly clear the grass, move the place through so we could approach and pray there. It had a pond surrounding it that was infested with mosquitoes, larvae, algae, and all manners of things. And it had been abandoned the way the Nigerian patrimony and the Nigerian structure has been neglected and abandoned. So I made up my mind that myself and the members of my church will be personally responsible for maintaining that cenotaph, cleaning it, making sure that it brings back to us the heritage, the strength, and the beauty of a truly great nation. Nigeria is one of the greatest nations in the world. We have everything. We have gold, coal, manganese. Oil is one of the least things that we have as a resource. We have gas that causes soot in Port Harcourt, being flared every day because we don't know what to do with it. Almost everything that a man needs is available in Nigeria, from Mambila through the Tuaregs, to the savannah, down to the coastlines. The prawns from the coastlines and the beaches and the rivers of Nigeria is one of the best in the world. The bitumen, never before been mined, is the second best in the world. The oil is about the third or the fourth best, Bonny Light they call it, in the world. The cocoa used to be one of the best in the world. On the Ivory Coast overtook us, and Ghana is following behind. The cashew is highly sought after. I asked my company, Valencia, why have you come to Nigeria with all this struggle? What takes them 2 weeks to do in Ghana, they take 4 months to do in Nigeria. They say Nigeria still has one of the best cashews in the world. The yield is fantastic. And it's in Nigeria that we're still able to make much more money and much more volume than we can do in most of these other places. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? That is why we're all in pain, because the kind of leader Nigeria needs may never get to the leadership that Nigeria has. The kind of leader Nigeria needs may never get to the leadership that Nigeria has. The challenge, ironically, is the Nigerians themselves. They're simply not ready to get the kind of leader that we need. There are 3 classes of Nigerians, and there may be more. The first class is the totally ignorant Nigerian. They have no idea what is going on. And I used to belong to that class until about 4 or 5 years ago that I said, we must do something about Nigeria. 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 Totally ignorant, in total bliss. Just going around their businesses. Some of them are in places like Port Harcourt, Lagos, Ibadan, going about their businesses up and down. A lot of them are in the villages. They don't live in Nigeria at all. They don't know what's going on. And most of them vote along ethnic and religious lines. Whatever they tell them, whatever they've been told is what they do. This man is from Makurdi, is our brother. Vote for him. Good, black, bad, ugly, nice, educated, illiterate, doesn't matter. This man is a Muslim, vote for him. This man is this, vote for him. Whatever they have been told to do is what they do. Foladiola, my friend, coming out of Victoria Land one day, was surrounded by what you call area boys in Lagos. And they were complaining. Fola said to them, why are you people complaining? You put so-and-so in power. Why are you complaining? The people said, well, we didn't know. It is who they told us to vote, we vote. Totally ignorant. And the Bible says, where there is no knowledge, the people are destroyed, they cast off restraint, they cannot behave, they don't know what they're doing. And ignorance has been weaponized in Nigeria to make sure that the people are put in perpetual ignorance. It's a deliberate policy of those who have ruled this country in the past, and I have evidence to prove it. The second are people who are partially knowledgeable. They know good from bad, right from wrong, but unfortunately, a lot of them take decisions only along the lines of loyalty. This person has been good to me, so whether he's good to Nigeria doesn't matter. I will support him. I will vote for him. And politicians are a mixture of one and two. They deal with ignorance. They deal with partially knowledgeable. They deal on the basis of loyalty. That's why a politician will make you go and swear an oath that you will never abandon him. One of our greatest politicians said, I prepare for everything. I prepare for crisis. I prepare for revolution. I prepare for betrayal. And I prepare for unity after betrayal. I prepare for everything. But then the most painful class is probably a few of us who are here tonight, this morning. Knowledgeable. Know good from bad. Know right from wrong. But immensely self-centered. Immensely self-centered. They take decisions largely based on personal benefits. So-and-so is running. Will his government pay me? A friend of mine will be looking for good government in Nigeria. He's a big businessman. Yesterday I was talking to him. What do we do about Nigeria? Who do we follow? Who do we vote for? He said, Pastor, this so-and-so is good, He will give us good government. But Pastor, don't let's make mistake, Let's align with the person we go win, so that when he win, we know how we go do our own. You know, last time, your friend win, you don't get anything. This time, the one way win, you must get something. A true conversation I had just yesterday on my way here. So we're in trouble. Knowledgeable, but immensely self-centered. That all they're thinking of is how they will benefit from whatever government is in power. So it doesn't matter. As long as they have access to power, it's okay. A lot of us have had to pay a lot of price for taking a certain position, even though all our friends are in power. It's a difficult price to pay. You know, my late wife, before she died, said, man of God, why are you so poor? No have money. It's time to pay rent. You can't pay. Meanwhile, all your friends are in power. What are you doing? She got one of my friends, a co-pastor, to come and tell me off. Your friend has no money. All his friends are in power. So my friend came. How come you don't have money? You know this, you know that, you know the other one, you know the other one. How come? So I looked at him up and down. So what do you want me to do? You want me to be sitting outside their offices from morning to night? Because today in Nigeria, what we celebrate is what they call sycophancy. If you're not a sycophant, you can sit in an office all day, all night, you won't make money. I tried it, I won't tell a lie. One of my friends was a big minister. I sat outside his office, waiting. He would go up, go down, go to Asuro, come back, go down. Then in the middle of it, one of my ushers entered. And the ushers looked at me and said, Pastor, what are you doing here? I said, Mungwa contract. I'm looking for a contract. I said, Pastor, Pastor. The way he looked at me, I felt so small. So small. He said, okay. He sat down. After a while, he got up. So I don't have time to wait for this rubbish. I'm going. Me, his pastor, I was waiting. Eventually, I had to leave without seeing this so-called friend of mine who had now become a minister somewhere. Then I said to myself, if God cannot help me, then let me leave it that way. What kind of leader does Nigeria need? I quote a gentleman called David. The Bible tells us that the people went to David and they said to David, you be captain or shepherd over us. The people went to David where he was hiding. They went to him in Hebron where he had gone to just hide his head after Saul had died. He said, you be captain over us. He said, why should I be captain over you? He says, when Saul was king, you were the one that led us out and brought us in. You are the one that the Lord has said, feed my people Israel, and you shall be shepherd over them. They said to David, you are one of us. You know us. You understand us. We are one. We have walked. You know what to do. You have a relationship with God. Your purpose aligns with our destiny as a nation. You understand the job. Be shepherd over us. The people identified the qualities that were needed in a leader. And a lot of us in Nigeria still refuse to identify those qualities. And therefore, we're getting the leaders we deserve and not the leaders we need. And David therefore wrote his manifesto. And you find his manifesto in Psalm 23, a psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me along the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. What are the qualities of leaders that Nigeria wants? A leader that has the knowledge and the fear of God. If there's any leader today who does not know God, is not born again, does not have the knowledge and the fear of God, he cannot be your leader. Number two, visionary, knowledgeable, exposed, a servant leader. Visionary, knowledgeable, exposed, a servant leader. A guy called Lee Kuan Yew, because of his vision, his exposure, took a little backwater country like Singapore and transformed it from third world to first world in 40 years. A leader that is provisionary. David says, you will not want if I am your shepherd. Sheikh Al Maktoum, the leader of Dubai, says, I go everywhere to see what people have, and I bring it back home to provide for my people. I go everywhere. When I see a Disneyland that's fantastic, I bring it back home. When I see a hotel that's beautiful, I bring it back home. When I see a building that's wonderful, I bring it back home and I give it to my people. I bring it back home and I give it to my people. How many leaders of Nigeria have gone anywhere to see anything? One of our leaders from this part of Nigeria went to Dubai. He was boasting, Dubai is such a beautiful place. What did you do with your own state? A leader that has direction with capacity. A leader that has direction with capacity. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. A leader that is compassionate, passionate and caring for his people. He restoreth my soul. Sheikh Al Maktoum says, a president's job is to make his people happy. A president's job is to make his people happy. How many presidents of Nigeria have ever tried to make their people happy? How do I make my people happy? The man goes up and down Dubai every day, just checking on the welfare of his people, ensuring that his people are happy. He's making his money, no doubt. His palace is humongous, but his people are happy. A leader that is sincere, ethical, morally upstanding, with a defendable reputation. How many of them are so? We know how they made their money. People had no money when they got into the government house. Suddenly have properties all over the state and all over the country and all over the nation. You need to see the plethora of leaders that were in Africa in those days. People like Idi Amin, People like al-Bashir, people like Robert Mugabe, who was fighting wars for many years and became one of the wealthiest leaders before he left. Mobutu Sese Seko, Charles Taylor, even Muammar Gaddafi, all manners of thoughts. And in Nigeria, we've had an array of over 13 leaders, most of them accidental leaders who had no plan, no vision, no thoughts, no direction for Nigeria. 7, you need a strong, bold, courageous, ready to take the bullet kind of person. Faithful, loyal, and committed. David says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because God is with me. You need a disciplinarian with the milk of kindness. The disciplinarian with the milk of kindness. And that's why David says, your rod and your staff, they don't just destroy me, they give me discipline and they give me comfort. A hard-working defender of the defenseless. Anybody who says they want to be president of Nigeria and they want to work only for 4 to 6 hours a day cannot be serious. You cannot work for 6 hours a day and be president of Nigeria. You need an encourager, people encourager, to remove problems, barriers, and help people fulfill their purpose in life. You need a sacrificial leader, a leader that is very, very sacrificial and ready to serve. How can a man be ready to pay 100 million naira when all he wants to do is to sacrifice? Who does that? Who does that? A sacrificial leader. A leader that is determined, a leader that is prayerful and has the true fear of God, and a leader that is ready to die for Nigeria. I look through the candidature that we have today, and I'm still worried that we may not get the right kind of leader, because I'm not sure that any one of them is ready to die for Nigeria. Nelson Mandela said, South Africa will be free. And I believe that South Africa will be free. He says it's an ideal that I look forward to fulfilling in my lifetime, and I love to live to see. But if necessary, that I need to die for South Africa to be free, I am prepared to die. Ask the leaders that you have, put them on the screen. Ask them, are they ready to die for Nigeria? Martin Luther King says, I am 38 years old, and I hear they're coming after me, they're threatening my life, they want to kill me. So that's okay. He says, at 38, I'm ready to die for what I believe in. He says, I can live until 90, live a good life, have a long life, enjoy myself, but it will be an empty life. He says, whether you die at 38 or you die at 90, you will die anyway. So why don't you die for what you believe in? Why don't you die for what you believe in? And make sure that your life has been worth living. A few weeks later, they shot him and they killed him. The night before he died, he says, I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I know that one day you will all get there. The next day, they shot him and they killed him. Today, there's a public holiday in the name of Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody talks about Martin Luther King Jr., but many people who lived until they were 90, nobody remembers them. We may not get the leader that we want unless we do what we need to do. And I'll just take 2 extra minutes to tell what I think we should do. Because a lot of you are here, and if you work hard, you can give us the leader that we want. We need to agree and unite. Nigerians are not united for anything. Psalm 133, you have to agree and unite. You know what is right. It doesn't have to be your benefit. It doesn't have to be for you and you alone. Agree and unite. If Nigeria is good, it will be good for all of us. We need to be focused on what we want. We need to be strategic. We need to speak out. We need to be blameless. We need to get involved in this thing called politics. You cannot sit on social media doing politics, talking in beer parlor, talking at polo club, talking all over the place, just talking and complaining. Get involved in this thing and prove yourself that you want to be there. You have to be pray without ceasing. We can only get the Nigerian leader that we want if you all, looking at me and listening to me, decide that this is the person you want. And you're ready to walk actively towards it and make sure that nothing will stand in your way. Albert Einstein says, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours.